Ladies, it's time to get moving, strengthen, and stretch. Exercises for aging women can be a bit different than our younger years. Our bodies are changing due to hormonal changes during perimenopause, menopause, and postmenopause, such as myself. All of this slows metabolism. Both the World Health Organization and the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention recommend at least 150 to 300 minutes of moderate exercise or 75 to 150 minutes of vigorous aerobic exercise a week for adults up to ages 64. Now, that works out to about 30 minutes a day. And here's how you can get that 30 minutes in daily. 30 minutes of aerobic exercise, such as brisk walking, running, biking, or dancing, which equates out to 5 to 7 days a week. Do muscle strengthening exercises, focusing on all areas of the body at least 1 to 2 days a week. It's important to incorporate stretching before and after physical activity to better prepare the body for a strong workout. So, if you're over 64, of course, you want to talk to your doctor to create a better physical plan for you so that you don't you don't hurt your body, you hurt yourself in the process. So you may need less than 30 minutes a day, depending upon your body. Again, talk to your doctor first. Now, ladies, let's get moving. Let's strengthen and stretch for a better overall health. Karen Putz is known as the Passion Mentor. She is the author of multiple books, including her bestseller, Unwrapping Your Passion, Creating the Life You Truly Love. Karen created a midlife reinvention at the age of 44 for herself after more than 20 years after becoming deaf from a fall while barefoot water skiing. She returned to the water. Now that's brave. Now today, she helps midlifers create more joy and fun in the second half of life. Karen, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. It's such a pleasure to be here.
So also, I just have to share with everyone just how amazing Karen is. She's deaf. Like, we're doing this, like, she's reading my lips. So if that doesn't motivate you, I don't know what else will. Okay. Now, Karen, you've been studying the topic of passion for many years. What is passion and how do you define it?
Well, I'm glad you asked that. That's one of my favorite questions. I've interviewed over 200 people for my book, Unwrapping Your Passion. So, of course, I asked everybody, what is passion? How do you define it? And I got 200 different definitions. It depends on your perspective of passion. But of all the 200 interviews that I did, the best definition of it came from the World Barefoot Champion's mother. And she said to me, Karen, passion is a joy. We know what joy is, right?
Yes.
We can identify our joy immediately. Passion is like tap water. You turn on the faucet and it flows. The problem is when you become adults, we get stuck in the same old routine. We get stuck in our busyness of every day. We lose our passion for life. And that is what I want to do, is bring women and midlife women back into that place of joy.
Nice. Obviously, you're adventurous. Barefoot water skiing, I forgot, what is that? And is part of your program helping people to become more adventurous? Because if they're bored, if they're feeling like there's nothing exciting about life again, do you help them tap back into some form of adventure?
If we go back into my story, I was born with normal hearing. I grew up hard of hearing, and I became deaf from barefoot water skiing at 19. So I abandoned the sport, even though I loved it. It was my passion. And then fast forward to age of 44, I felt old. I had long ago abandoned the sport. I tried it the day before my 44th birthday, and I could not barefoot water ski. And I thought, oh, wow, this is midlife. So my perception of what midlife was and my perception of what growing older meant was defined in that moment. Everybody around me was slowing down. Everybody around me was saying things like, oh, I want to go back to college, but it's too late. I wish I had my degree. It's too late. I wish I could be this or that, but it's too late. And it's not. I was finding stories of people 70, 80, 90 doing amazing things. And when I started researching that, that's when I started realizing, wow, my perception and pretty much the average person's perception of midlife and beyond is all about slowing down, about being careful. Don't take anything risky. Don't do anything risky. You're too old for that. Those are the beliefs and the perceptions that were going through my mind. And if they were going through my mind, they were probably going through many other people's minds. And so I just woke up one day and I'm like, I'm on a mission to change that. I want people to embrace growing older.
Yeah, we really do become the stories that we tell ourselves.
We do. We absolutely become those stories. So if we want a different life, we have to create a different story for our life. And surround ourselves with people who are living with passion. Here's the thing, if you choose passion and if you create a passion path in life, people are going to show up. They're going to show up on your path and they're going to, you're going to be attracted to them and they're going to be attracted to you. And a whole new life is going to open up for you.
So how does one find that thing? Like, you knew that your passion was the water skiing. I mean, barefoot, what's it called? Barefoot skiing?
Barefoot water skiing.
Barefoot water skiing.
It may not be for everyone.
You knew that was one of your passions. But some people, by the time they become midlife, they've fallen in such a rut and doing everything for everyone else, the kids, the family, the job. I think we tend to forget what our passions are, who we are. So how do you help your clients identify that or re-identify?
A lot of our passions, the clues are in our past. So if we look back to a time when we were filled with joy, what were we doing? Who were we with? It can be something as simple as, swinging on a swing. Do you remember how it felt when you were a little kid and you would go high up and then you would come down, then you go high up again? Remember that feeling? We can bring that feeling back, but it's up to us to identify what gives us that feeling. What brings it? Everyone's different. Everyone has a different definition of passion and what it feels like and what it means like to them. So we have to take that time to sit down and look back in our past for those clues. What's on our Sunday list? What are you putting off? We all had these big wishes that if this happens or that happens or this situation, or then I can be happy, then I can pursue my passion. What about doing it now? Why not bring that energy into your life right now instead of waiting for Sunday? Identify those things that are important to you, meaningful to you. Try new things.
Yeah, we do get afraid of trying new things. And once it's tried, then that fear goes away.
Fear never goes away. It really doesn't. It's always there with every new challenge. But here's the thing. The only way around fear is right through it. And we can diminish it. Let me take that back. We can eliminate it with practice and with confidence. I think a lot of fear within us is the unknown. And when we become familiar with it, it no longer is a fear. Well, maybe it's replaced by excitement or maybe nervousness, but it's no longer fear. The more and more we get to know something, practice something, pick up the skill of something, our confidence increases. A lot of the time we won't get to that place because we let the unknown scare us. Oh, I don't want to look like a fool. Oh, I'm not good at painting. Oh, no, that person's so much better than me. And we never experience passion. We never try.
Yeah. So tell us about your book, because your book is about finding and tapping back into that passion.
Mm-hmm. It is. This is called Unwrapping Your Passion. And it took me 6 years to write the book. I got the idea for the book shortly after I started barefoot water skiing again. But I didn't really know how a lot of people who were living with passion. I was new. I was definitely not qualified to write that book 6 years before. Mm-hmm. So I reached out to my friend Kevin Hall, and he said to me, Karen, follow your bliss, and people will show up into your life. And on the next plane ride home, in the very, very last seat, I was sitting next to a man named Pete, and he was reading a book called Turn Your Passion into Profit. So we started talking, and I said, what's your passion? Turns out he was extremely passionate about fishing. He quit a very lucrative job to become a full-time fisherman. He lived on his credit cards for 1 year. That's how much he believed in his passion. And he does it full time. And he's like, Karen, everybody else is driving to the office on Monday morning, and I'm going to the lake. So, my husband's still here. So, yeah, that was the very first story, the very first interview for that book. And it taught me a lot, that we have to have faith in ourselves. Even when we're not sure if the money will be there or the situation will be there, we have to try. Without trying, without believing in ourselves, passion has no place to be born.
Yeah, I often say, I think probably the worst thing you can do is get to maybe your 80s or 90s and you're constantly thinking or saying, I wish I had, I should have, could have, would have, but now it's too late.
That, I think, is everyone's biggest fear. And sometimes it happens sooner than we anticipate. We get a diagnosis the next day, or things change in our life. We often gamble that someday is going to be there, and it may not for us. And I think there was a really cool quote that I came across yesterday, and see if I can remember it. It was, fear is temporary, regret lasts forever. Mm. And it's so true. It's so true. We let things in the short term hold us back, but in the long term, we pay for them. There is a risk in staying safe. And the risk of being safe is that you get to the end of your life looking back, wishing you had done more. I can guarantee you will not remember all of the Netflix movies that you've seen at the end of your life, but you will remember people and experiences.
Yes. Experiences and positive and, experience. I think you're more grateful for those experiences than anything else. Share another experience of, without divulging too much, of a client or someone that you help them rediscover passion.
There's a lot of them. I use a tool called the Passion Test to help people discover their top 5 passions. But what comes to mind right now is I gave this woman, her name is Edie, and I actually have a YouTube interview with her. So her story is out there. But I gave her a copy of Unwrapping Your Passion at a meeting in Florida. She had just gone through a divorce. She had lost her son. Mm. And it was a low point in her life. Gave her the book. And she read it, and she said to me, Karen, I know what my passion is. And I said, what is it? And she said, dancing. I gave it up when I got married. My husband didn't want to dance. So for many years during their marriage, she had buried that passion. Right then and there, she went out and signed up for dance lessons. And now she dances 3 to 5 times a week with a brand new partner that she's in love with. And I think that is just the most amazing, beautiful example of is if we look in their past and the past has clues, bring them to life. They may look differently because you're older. Like, for example, if you were a quarterback on a football team, you can do things that involve football. You can create a passion quest where you go to all the football games in every stadium. You can coach football at your local, football league. You can form a pickup game, 70, 80-year-old playing football on a sunny day. There are so many ways that you can bring your passion into your current life if you're creative.
Yeah. I love the way you express that because it helps me to even realize that it's so simple because usually like I'm a life coach for midlife women as well, but my focus is on mainly career, their purpose and helping others, taking their life experiences and helping others. But this is like really what we're talking about is something very different. I'm sure you do what I do as well, but this is like really different. Like it's making me remember like years ago, I always wanted to be a singer. I moved to Los Angeles specifically for a singing career, but I quickly realized I didn't like the music industry. So I let it go. And every now and then it'll pop in my mind, up in my mind to just start singing as a hobby on my own, not necessarily join a band or anything like that, but just start practicing singing again on my own time. And you've just inspired that in me. Yeah. So I love
when that happens.
Yeah. And I love the fact that what you're doing can bring out a passion that we've forgotten about and maybe silently long for. And it will add something else, like maybe even a spiritual aspect back into our lives, like the guy with fishing. Your barefoot skiing. Maybe it's someone else's planting. It can be very subtle, very not a huge life change, basically, is what I'm stating.
And think about it. You can sing. If you were leading a group, you can open with a song and have everybody sing together. There's all different ways that you can bring that back in your life in creative ways.
Love it. So how would a potential client who wants to bring passion back into their lives reach you, Karen?
They can reach out to me at yourpassionschool.com. and Karen at agelesspassion.com. Reach out to me. I have so many different things. I have a free gift for all of you who are listening. If you go to my page and you click on the 22 lessons for a remarkable life or a passionate life, whatever you want to define it, there's 22 lessons that is packed with value. If you read them and you implement them, you are guaranteed to live your life with passion.
And ladies, we'll make sure we share that link for that free gift on our page for this show. Thank you so much for joining us, Karen, and please come back again.
Thank you so much for having me, and I look forward to hearing you sing.
Thank you. And ladies, we did this interview from her reading my lips. Pretty awesome. Thank you so much.